Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. What's poppin'? What's poppin'? What's poppin'? Clean Pin. Episode 12 of your weekly chit-chat about professional wrestling news, notes, rumors, things going on, opinions, facts. It's all gravy here as we're live from the vehicle of Tom from the Bleachers Sports Show, and I beg you and I implore you to hit that like button, subscribe, and we will eventually do this live from the mansion of yours truly. We'll go live. We'll do all that good stuff. We're just gonna get ourselves situated. We're getting our stuff here off the ground. We're gonna be doing that, I think, live. With the nice backgrounds. I have all that set up. It's just a matter of, times have been busy. And, everyday life. So, for the time being, this is done unprofessionally. This is done from the vehicle of yours truly on his commute. And my couple of things to get into this week. A couple of thoughts from wrestling. And we're going to go in really no chronological order. We're just going to go kind of bounce around here of certain things that I wanted to discuss. From Monday Night Raw, we had Seth Rollins debut his new shirt. He calls himself the Monday Night Messiah. And the Messiah, and this t-shirt. And if you want a rare commodity, one of these collector's items, if you are a Seth Rollins fan, I can see this shirt being something, 20 years from eBay, which could be labeled as some wrestling fan will label it as rare. Selling, trying to get a G off of it. That's $1,000 for all you unhip people. Because this shirt, ladies and gentlemen, if you've seen this shirt, it's only a matter of time, I think, and I don't want to see it happen, but you know it will. It's only a matter of time before the shareholders, the public interest groups, will start writing to WWE. They will start saying that they're offended because his t-shirt, it almost depicts, like a religious figure, the mosaic, the windows, like the stained glass windows. It just used to depict a religious figure, and I think that will get the religious groups upset, because that's what, even though it's not the same person, and even though Seth Rollins is not a saint, they're depicting a saint, a savior, a religious, figure. To me, it's more, he's more coming across as a cult leader anyway. So I personally am fine with the t-shirt, because I know that's not, how they're, I just, don't see this t-shirt lasting very long. I want to be wrong, but I and mind you, this video was done on Thursday. This is Thursday, so maybe it hasn't got enough traction yet. But if he's wearing this shirt again next week and the week after that, people are going to start following it, picking up on it. One tweet leads to another tweet, leads to trending, leads to everyone being offended. I don't see that shirt lasting long because people like to get offended. I would personally be more offended by the fact that Seth Rollins is wearing it's one gloved Seth Rollins. To me, that's more offending. Where's the second glove? Why are you just wearing one glove? I am more offended by that. Also, from this past Monday night, I was offended. And again, it's the little things that matter to me. It's the continuity. It's the big picture, the storyline, where this is going, what you're building up, what we're trying to accomplish. And to me, it doesn't make sense. Two parts. First of all, you have Buddy Murphy, the newest member of Seth Rollins' group. The new guy. He's there. So what happens, his first week on the job, or his first week with Seth Rollins, now they've never teamed before. Maybe they teamed on dark shows, but they haven't teamed, to the best of my knowledge, on TV. They haven't been a tag team for a couple weeks, couple months, couple of years. They just decided to form themselves, Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy, to be a tag team this past week's episode on Raw. So not only are they going up against the champs, but they're getting a title opportunity against the champs. And you know who wins this match against the Viking Raiders since they get a title opportunity? You guessed it, the team of Buddy Murphy and Seth Rollins. So that doesn't make sense to me. If you want the tag team division, if you're trying to paint the picture of the tag team division mattering, all of a sudden you completely crapped on that whole idea by giving a tag team who's been a tag team for 10 minutes a title opportunity. They get a title match. Now I know this was a challenge and they accepted. I guess you could run with that. But what does that say about your tag team division? Why should we, the viewer, care if you do not even care about your own division, where you're just not giving you're for tag teams that have been there forever? You're giving them no opportunities this week, but you're giving a new tag team an opportunity. They haven't even earned their spot, earned their title shot. I just didn't like that. Now, if you're saying, oh, come on, we're nitpicking here. Heck, in storyline-wise, this group has just come together. Brand new group that Seth Rollins put together. So he recruits Buddy Murphy, tags up with Buddy Murphy. He's challenging the Viking Raiders. But why is it Buddy Murphy and Seth Rollins doing this? Why ain't it AOP that's getting this opportunity? You pretty much just dicked over the AOP, and they're in your own group. They're your buddies, your amigos, your compadres. So you just pretty much did them dirty. That is, so that doesn't make sense to me either. Unless, something happens down the road in the next coming week or two where Seth Rollins goes, you know what? I'm giving this tag team title, I'm giving this belt to the AOP. And maybe that would kind of start planting the seeds where Buddy Murphy would be like, wait a minute, I won that tag team title. We won. This is my first major title that I've been working for long and hard, and you're just going to take it away from me? Why? But Buddy, because I am, listen to my plan. I'm the chosen one. This is what's best. And then that could possibly start planting the seeds for a Buddy Murphy, Seth Rollins type of a deal, feud down the road. I don't know. But, geez, man, that just totally, that didn't make sense to me. I didn't like it at all. Staying on Seth Rollins, Seth Rollins also did an interview this past week. And he was talking about his recent heel turn. He was saying how it's hard to have longevity as a hero, being, in this day and age of social media, and, one voice becomes a gazillion voices. It spreads like wildfire sometimes. So it's hard to have that longevity. You really need to be clicking on all cylinders to continue to be that hero. And, I gotta agree with that statement. One might even argue that, it is hard. And when you're able to keep it for that long, and be the hero, the good guy, you're doing something right. Now, there were times where, a federation has just kind of refused to do the turn, kind of in spite, just to, they're trying to show the fans who's the boss, who's in charge. One might argue that John Cena should have turned heel a gazillion times. This is what everyone is clamoring for, wanting to be heel. Roman Reigns, they wanted Roman Reigns to be heel. WWE has refused to do that. Yeah, so it's hard. You need to be, and even like before this day and age, right? You think about now how the fans are. I think even before, now you have social media and stuff like that, but even before, like when the attendance was astronomical and venues were being sold out, you didn't need social media back then either. The fans would let you know what they think. Look, like a guy like Hulk Hogan, who was, I guess you could say, Mr. Wrestling, some might argue, or on the Mount Rushmore, or the Mount Rushmore of wrestling. Even him, he wasn't able to be a face throughout his career. He turned heel as well. And when he turned heel, one might argue that when he turned heel, it kind of maybe even extended his career another couple of years. Even guys of a lesser talent, not lesser talent, but of lesser notoriety, like the Rock and Roll Express, legends, in tag team wrestling. Even a guy like Ricky Morton, who's a forever a quote-unquote a baby face. Even he wasn't a baby face throughout his whole career. Remember when he was part of the York Foundation, and I believe he was called Richard Morton in WCW? Look that up. So it's hard. Like, think who was able to stay a babyface their whole career. That says a lot. When even like the greatest of the great, you know, Hulk Hogan wasn't able to stay a babyface his whole career. I mean, I think, you know, the fans of these guys, you know, and the wrestling fans, as they get older, you know, who tunes in, who tunes out, it changes. And, you know, as that changes, the voice, the opinions of the wrestling fans change, because certain fans drop off, or the new ones come in, so they all like and dislike different things. So that statement that Seth Rollins made is, I think, 100% accurate. It's hard. It's a different day and age now, and you know, people, if they're in a world of distractions where there is no, you know, people want instant gratification now. That's what they want. If they don't like what they see from you, there we go, straight to social media, straight to boo you. They really don't like to give second and third chances. Just straight to, you know, straight to complain. And, you know, you might argue, I've seen, you know, various interviews with wrestlers that say that it is so hard to play the hero that they would much rather play the villain. It's so much easier. So take it for what it's worth, too. If you're able to gauge the audience's attention and keep the cheers coming, then, you know, you're constantly, and you're able to reinvent yourself, keep yourself current, and still be a face. That is some amazing work. You know, and nowadays, I think you really never have. You have your true faces. I mean, there are faces, but majority of them, you can't even say like they're. You have more like tweeners now, more than anything, more than true faces. So, you know, it just goes to show you how hard it truly is. Kalisto has decided to re-sign with the WWE. WWE. All you Kalisto fans out there, all 10 of you. Listen, I'm sure Kalisto was, you know, was one of these guys. There was, you know, rumor and speculation. You know, he's saying that he has a lot to prove still. You know, he's part of Lucha House Party, which is a good little thing. I mean, it keeps the audience entertained. It has its place on the show. You know, young kids, I'm sure, like Lucha House Party. It's not. I don't see Kalisto being a world's heavyweight championship, heavyweight champion for you. But you know what he does. You know, with Lucha House Party, it's cool on the. You know, it's cool on house shows. It gets the fans involved. So it has a time and place. I think, you know, Kalisto, I think when you realize certain fans, you know, or certain fans always want certain wrestlers to leave. And when you think about it, they want them to go anywhere but WWE. They want them to go, AEW, MWA, NWA. But the fact is, like, if you think about it, like in Kalisto's situation, this was, I think, the best thing for him. Look, I'm sure he put out feelers out there. The thing is, too, like, all right, you go on the indies. If you think about it, if you're known as Kalisto and you don't have rights to that name, I mean, who's going to really, I don't think, in his case, especially since he's a masked wrestler and, the name Kalisto is not his, he's very limited as to what he could do, I think, when he's on the indies and he's trying to restart himself and rebrand himself without that Kalisto name. It's different if you're a Rey Mysterio, because Rey Mysterio is a world-renowned name. Everyone knows who Rey Mysterio is. It's, with the indie scene, I think it's a little bit harder for you, being Kalisto, to reinvent your new persona on the indie scene when no one really knows, who I just don't think, I don't see it being as successful, and I think that WWE was, the best option for Kalisto. Speaking of options here, one option I that a lot of people want to do when it comes to Monday Night Raw is they've been wanting to change the channel whenever that, the Bobby Lashley, Lana, Rusev, Liv Morgan segments come on the TV too. For whatever whatever is happening, it translates different on YouTube, because that is one of the most popular clips on YouTube, is the Lana, Lashley, Rusev segments. And I think even more importantly than all of that, Vince loves it, so he's gonna stick with this here. In an interview, Lashley was explaining why he's, like, pretty much in a way doing everything, and he's doing everything with a smile in regards to whatever WWE is asking of him, right? So he will do anything and everything. He's, as much as maybe he's not comfortable with this storyline, he says he's going to go forth with it, keep doing the best that he can, making something out of it, because, he sees what the end game in all of this is he wants a opportunity at Bobby Lash, at Brock Lesnar. So he thinks that, what he's doing here will get him that reward with Brock Lesnar. That's kind of been on record. He's been saying this is his one, like, his dream match that he's been wanting. He wants Brock Lesnar. I'll tell you this. Bobby Lashley, guy is built like a Greek god, right? Chiseled. Like, he plays the part. He looks like a wrestler. He's a man that if you see him in person, you'll be like, holy crap, this guy is going to kick my ass if you get on his bad side. And so is Brock Lesnar, obviously. for that matter. Scary dude. Scary dude is Bobby Lashley. He lacks. What he does lack, though, is he lacks the mic work. Okay, I mean, look at Brock Lesnar. He can't cut a promo, and one might argue when he does try to cut a promo, when he does try to, sometimes when he improvises in Brock Lesnar and puts in his 2 cents there, internet fans are saying it's best that he doesn't talk because that voice does not match the body. It's no longer an intimidation factor. People say when you hear him speak, voice doesn't match the body. But that's why Brock Lesnar has Paul Heyman, and it works. Could I see? I mean, here's the thing. Could I see a Bobby Lashley and a Brock Lesnar match? I mean, I could see it happening. I don't know if it'll be a good match. I don't think Brock Lesnar works well with these type of guys. He works better with, average size guys as opposed to guys that I think are as bigger than him. I think of Brock, and I just get flashbacks of Brock and Goldberg. They're a reason why those matches, when we've seen them recently, Goldberg and Brock, were of a shorter time amount. Now, and they had to be done strategically, remember. In that series, less was better. One might argue that's what has to go with Lashley and Lesnar if they were fighting. Less is better. So I could see that happening. Kind of build it as, 2 former MMA guys. I could see that. But right now, can I see Lashley being a world's champion? I just can't see him being a world champion. He has the look. He has everything going for him as far as physique-wise. Intimidation, up the gazoo factor. Muscles all over the place. But he, I don't know, he just cannot cut a promo for me. Even like his mannerisms seem to be a little bit off for me. I don't know, I just can't. I could see him getting the match. But I can't see him being a champ. Maybe this is why, another aspect of why Bobby Lashley is in this storyline. Maybe he's trying to evolve his character as well. That not only is he trying to maybe get hopefully repaid for his work, he's trying to expand himself, trying to show that he could play different roles. And maybe that's what you need. Maybe if they see something in what you're doing and playing this role, because he has been trying. You got to give it to him. He has been trying. Maybe that might open the door in being a world's champion. But I don't know. I just cannot see it. I mean, listen, guys like... there's certain guys that have been other champions, that have been heavyweight champions that might argue shouldn't be champions. I don't know. For me, I mean, I could see him definitely getting that match, but it's not going to be a match where it's going to be one of these WWE classics, right? So you got to be careful as to how you put that match together. If that match were ever to unravel, go forward there. Cody Rhodes was on Busted Open, and when he was on Busted Open, he was talking about many things. You know, he was talking about Orange Cassidy being one of them. You know, Orange Cassidy, they want to continue to putting him on the bigger, you know, on the spotlight as time goes forward, goes along. Keep on making that spotlight even bigger for a guy like Orange Cassidy. So AEW, you know, sees a lot of things in Orange Cassidy. You know, I'll give you my 2 cents on Orange Cassidy. He's not for everyone. He's not for me. I personally don't. It's not like I'll be getting a Orange Cassidy shirt, but he has. Let's just say that he has grown on me, and I get why a guy like Orange Cassidy is needed in AEW, right? You need a guy like Orange Cassidy because, kind of just like what I said now, the fans that were wrestling fans once upon a time have left, or they've stayed around, they've left, they've come back, they've left, they've come back. They're in a constant circle. Or you just have new fans altogether. So, like, new fans are what they find entertaining. It all varies from person to person. So, Orange Cassidy, you know, people are looking for instant gratification. So, Orange Cassidy gratifies wrestling fan. You could see it because they cheer for him with the hands in the pockets, you know, with the best friends interaction. Orange Cassidy, freshly squeezed. It has its place. It has its place. People are entertained. He gets a reaction. You know, the problem with so much of wrestling, a lot of people don't get reactions. Orange Cassidy does. It's a different generation. It's a different era. Okay, not to be like the guy that sounds like get off my lawn, but you know, being close to 40, I put on the radio and I listen to some of the songs that they have playing on the radio. I cannot relate to it. Hell, has time passed me by as far as hipness? Probably. Do I like to say I'm hip? Probably. But am I really hip? Probably not. By all standards, because it's obviously someone is listening to it. That's why it's on the radio. And it's the same songs over and over again. It's all about ratings, all about who's engaged. People are engaged with Orange Cassidy. It's a new type of wrestling era, and it's a new type of, a new type of wrestling fan. NWA and ROH have their pay-per-view upcoming, and I think this is going to be very important. Very important. I think for these smaller, especially now, if you're bigger companies like AEW, who's going to be around for quite some time, WWE, and even like Impact, if you want to throw them in there, like these smaller companies, what they need to do, and I think what NWA and ROH are doing is something very good, and that's working together. You need to work together to stay around. You need to bring your talent together, work as a cohesive unit, because you don't want to get lost in the shuffle. You have to remember that there is so many wrestling companies now. So many companies have their own programming, whether it's streaming, on TV, on Twitch, YouTube. Everyone has their own deal. But with all the wrestling companies, there is not enough days in the week to watch all this wrestling. If you try to watch every single form of wrestling, unless you're a real diehard, your head's going to explode. These companies, I think what they're doing is good and coming together. NWA, ROH are working this pay-per-view together. It's important for these companies to exist, especially with so much wrestling out there now and not enough days in the week to watch it. Alex Riley was on an interview, explained really what his downfall is, not holding any resentment, but any bitterness. But he pretty much said that, for whatever reason, him and John Cena John Cena didn't like him. And that's kind of led to, his position in the company and eventually kind of being let go. I liked what I seen from Alex Riley. I liked his interactions with The Miz. He had a good look. He had a good physique. Was decent on the mic. He's going back into wrestling. I always thought like a guy like Alex Riley, stick him with like EC3 now, and maybe like a Bo Dallas, and right there, these three could be like a new varsity club, or like they could be playing frat brothers. I think Alex Riley has a lot to give in the company. It was kind of short-lived that he wasn't around for quite some time. He got a decent reaction too, I think. So, just a couple of key things that I wanted to touch base with you. The rumblings about this past week here. I hope all is well, guys, and I look forward to speaking to you guys very, very, very soon. Take care.